Hey BoLS fans, AdamHarry back again with another BoLS Battle Report. Today we are playing some Star Wars Armada. We have two 300-point lists. I'll be playing our awesome Imperial fleet. And gentlemen will be playing the Rebels. Ben, why don't you walk us through what's going on today?
Sure thing. So we have two very different lists. Adam is going for the most stripped down possible list with as much stuff in it as you can.
Oh,
There's only one upgrade in the entire force. Otherwise we got two Star Destroyers and a Gladiator class Star Destroyer. So what does the Victory class Star Destroyers?
Yep.
I can never get it straight.
Victory
so
class
two Victory class 2 Star Destroyers, which is the more expensive version, right? Or,
yep.
Or no? Okay,
85 points a pop.
Wow. Okay, and then the Gladiator class.
That's
so that's the 4-man Star Destroyer, the cheaper Star Destroyer. Over here, I have two Assault Frigate Mark II Bs. That's right. I am taking the Bs, not the As. What I'm trying to do is sort of capitalize on their high squadron value because that's really what Rebels do best. I think their fighters are just so much stronger than the Imperials. That's kind of like what defines them as a faction for me. So I'm going to have all the squadron points I can spend, and I've got 4 B-Wings, one of which is the character B-Wing. I also brought along Luke and Tycho. Ooh. So the truth is, if I go command with both my ships, I'll have that'll be exactly 6. So I have six squadrons. I've got the Gallant Haven. It is going to be, it also has some other upgrades. So the Gallant Haven special ability is before a friendly squadron at distance 1 suffers damage from an attack, reduce the total damage by 1. So it's going to help keep my fighters alive. I have an expanded hangar bay, so when I use a squadron command from the Gallant Haven, I can do an extra, so I'll have an increased squadron to 4. Advanced projectors on both ships. That's the one where you can shuffle your shields around a little bit better. I've also got Adar Talon on the Gallant Haven. After you resolve a squadron command, you can exhaust Adar to toggle one of your squadrons, so it can activate again. And I've also got flight controllers for the Gallant Haven, so when I do a squadron command with them, those guys will get an extra blue die against other squadrons, because I've really got a lot of my focus with the squadrons on blowing up ships rather than other squadrons. So to get to the ships, you first have to get through the enemy squadrons, so I'm going to have to have some help there. The other one has enhanced armament, so the battery armaments for its left and right hull zones are increased by 1 red die, so he's a little bit shootier. And then he also has the gunnery team, so he can attack from the same hull zone more than once for activation. Sweet. So I can shoot those 4 red dice plus the 1 blue if I'm in range at 2 different ships and maximize on the...
I do have Hal Runner. I want to call that out real fast. I do have Hal Runner. He's just hanging out right there. So I do have 1 special TIE, but other than that, I'm rocking 2 TIE Interceptor squadrons and 3 regular squadrons and Hal Runner, of course. So
yeah, we're going to kind of see how these two fleets handle themselves against each other. I've got a much more upgraded fleet. Everything's a lot more expensive. Well, I mean, technically,
the same point.
The Star Destroyer, yeah, still 300 points. Technically, I think the Star Destroyers are more expensive, but my guys end up being more expensive when it's all said and done, around 100 points each because of all the upgrades.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll work. A lot of times in a lot of war games, you know, it's really easy to upgrade yourself out of the game. You know, you just put too much stuff on one model, it gets too expensive, and there's no point to it.
And then I blow it up, and you feel
blow it up. Then you blow it up.
Yeah.
And he could very easily end up blowing everything up. He has a lot of dice over there. Star Destroyers are not to be messed with, and I'm really going to have to hope that the advanced projectors help save me.
So walk us through the scenario real fast too.
Oh right, the scenario.
Because we are actually playing a scenario, folks.
Yeah, we ended up with fire lanes, so that's what these objective tokens are in the middle.
So 1, 2, 3.
So the way we score them is kind of weird. You want to have the most dice from all your ships on a fire lane. So right now, let's say I was trying to see if I scored this objective. He has 2 red dice on it, and I think he's out of range. But basically, so what you want is, you know, something like that, where in this situation, I'd have 6 total dice from these 2 arcs pointing at that, and then if I have more dice than the other guy,
which is me,
which is Adam, then you get 15 points. 15 points. And that goes to the total of things you destroy.
Gotcha.
So that's another thing I'm going to have a hard time with because my big ships aren't as shooty as yours. So.
Yep. Well, no, it's 1 victory point per token we control, and the winner then gets 15 points for completing the mission, I believe. So, anyway, that's the basic scenario. We'll figure out the minutia here in a minute, but I am actually going second. So I actually won the flip, but I'm going second. Ben's gonna go first. We're gonna get all dialed in. We're gonna get our dials and speeds set up, ready to go, and then we're gonna roll some dice. So here we go. Star Wars Armada. Somebody cue some Star Wars music for me. So end of turn 1. Again, this is a I go you go type system. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the game, first step is command step, where you actually set your dials and everything. The second step is the ship step, where the ships move. And unlike an X-Wing, ships actually fire first and then move. So you kind of have to plan your turns a little bit better. And then after that is the squadron phase, where the smaller ships activate and stuff like that. Now you can activate squadrons during the ship phase with the special command, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. I'm just going to tell you what happened during the turn. So for my fleet, I moved up. Everything, as you can see, is going fairly slow. Both of my capital ships here are the victory classes are going 1, and the gladiator class actually was going speed 2. So that was the fastest one. But we're all just going kind of straight lines right towards the rebels and the objectives. And then the TIE fighters have kind of moved up to provide some support and cover. I got to cover my flanks. Really, my aft is what I got to cover. So yeah, that's what I'm worried about. So Ben, what did you do?
I just moved up pretty slow. I only had my speed set to 2. I was expecting you to go set your speed to 2 as well.
Surprise!
Although, honestly, I don't even know if that's like a hidden thing. If I could have just like...
I don't know. They were open, so... Oh, and dials. I forgot to talk about. Real quick, this guy went for the squadron order, but I actually chose to keep a token instead, and I did the same thing for this ship, so he's also got a squadron token, and then this guy has an engineering token banked. So... that's all I did. I didn't actually use my orders, but I'm banking them because I know that in a turn or two, it's going to get bloody. So, and yeah, I think Ben pretty much
engineering tokens because I know in a turn or two it's going to get bloody.
So it's almost like we had a plan and we're sticking to it.
Yep.
All right, moving on to turn 2. Real quick before you move, the end of turn 1, you do score the objective. So again, how that works, you get 1 objective token for each objective you control, and they're cumulative. They're worth 15 points each. That's where the mix-up was between me and Ben. So basically how this works, again, number of dice. I have all 3 of my ships are in range of that one, so I'm generating a crap load of dice on that one. Ben has ships on those 2 capital ships, so he's got dice on those 2. So he's obviously going to score that one. I'm not even in range of the other 2. So Ben has 2 tokens, I have 1, and we'll start again turn 2. All right, the end of round 2, we've moved up. We actually have some squadrons that are engaged, but no shots fired. No shots fired yet at all, actually. Again, the scoring system, I've got enough dice to take that one, so I've got 2 points total, or 2 tokens total. Ben's got those 2, so he's racking up the objective points there.
One important thing to point out, I almost landed on this one with my assault frigate.
Which would have flipped it for me.
It can move 2 clicks, even if it's only going 2. It can turn a click at each speed, even at turn 2. So yeah, that for this, definitely that little extra bit of movement definitely helped.
Dodge that bullet.
If it had been a Star Destroyer, it would have landed on it, and if you land on it, the point goes to the other player.
Yep. But yeah, we actually, again, no shots fired yet, but as far as orders given, my Gladiator had the engineering order, so I banked an engineering token. My first victory class here, the one with the upgrade, he also had a concentrate fire, which I banked, and same deal with the second one, concentrate fire, and banked that one as well. So when we just moved, I just moved straight forward pretty much. I think this guy turned a little bit, but
I had a squadron set up, which I used even though there was no way to engage, because it was the only way to get the fighters out of my way, and it's really bad to overlap your own fighters, especially when they're super slow B-wings.
Because then I get to place them.
Yeah, so being able to move those guys has helped keep them in front of me, which is probably it's gonna be really important, because now hopefully they'll be able to engage and shoot down some stupid TIE fighters.
What are you calling stupid TIE fighters? They're just TIE fighters, dog. They're just Imperial. He's just a mad rebel player. So.
I am. Stop oppressing me.
All right, we're gonna set our dials. It's now the command phase for turn 3, and we're probably gonna check out some action when we start rolling dice. So
yeah,
here we go. All right, or not really top of round, but round 3. I just moved my ship, my Gladiator, and it is now Ben's activation. He just tried to take a pop shot just you can pre-measure here. So just to show you guys.
Well, if he's not even pre-measuring, I haven't moved yet, so
he hasn't
it's time for
moved.
me to shoot. So I thought first shot of the game, I'll roll 4 red dice against the stupid gladiator sneaking up on me.
Except it is exactly out, like no overlap at all. So he can fit the thing there.
Your Star Destroyer is going to get 2.
Yeah. So he's gonna light that up. So
like,
it's two red dice. Watch out.
2 dice. What are you going to do?
So I'm gonna take it on the chin because it shields. All right. So real quick, let's show the folks at home how this works.
Well, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I hope everybody knows how to play Armada by now. Alright, so I got a 2-hit and a defense canceling ability.
Which one do you want to cancel?
I want to cancel the... you don't have evasion, you're looking at your gladiator.
Over here.
I'll cancel the brace, because the brace is where you have it.
Oh.
So you can do the redirect, so you can put it on a different shield.
I'm going to redirect it.
Okay.
So you flip it to signify you've used it for the turn, right. And then you move them for the rest. So I can move it to one adjacent. So it's this guy, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to move the 2 damage from here. I can actually move it however I want. So I'll take care of that here. Probably going to move it to this side. So, and then you don't have any other shots, do you?
Actually,
you can shoot twice.
If I was in range, the gunnery team would let me shoot again with the front at that guy. But I'm not in range, barely out.
Can you fire at the same target twice or no? With the gunnery team?
No.
So you got to fire at 2 separate teams. So just barely out. So okay.
The gunnery rules specifically say you can't.
Gotcha.
That's a gunnery team thing, not a general rule thing.
Gotcha. All right. So that was the first shot of the game. Turn through was a bit more action packed than the previous 2 turns. We did have we definitely had some ships do some scuffling here. Most of the action happened with the squadrons. See here, I actually am down 3 TIE fighter swarms thanks to all the B-wings flying in and blowing the crap out of me. Ben's got the handy guy with the squadron bays and everything, so pretty effective. In retaliation, I did take out a squadron of B-wings with my interceptors and everything like that. So
yeah, which
sucks for him because they are pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Aside from that, as far as orders go, this guy had the squadron order, which at this point I probably should stop using that on him because he's kind of out. I need to get him into combat. Yeah. This guy over here also did a squadron. That's how I was able to move the interceptors in to blow up the TIE. This guy had engineering, so those 2 damage points I took earlier, I went ahead and removed those. Aside from that, shooting-wise, this guy landed on the asteroid.
Yeah, he did.
And took a crit hit, but it was just it wasn't that bad, really. What was it called, Ben?
I got the faulty countermeasures card. When you land on an asteroid, you just do a face-up. That's what happens. So my ship cannot expend exhausted defense tokens. So the way defense tokens work, you get to use one of them, each of them once per round, but then you flip them over to the red side. But you can still use them when they're on the red side, but then they're gone for good. Yeah. So that just means
it's like a last-ditch effort.
Yeah. Thing. And that could be kind of helpful on those like final phases when your ship's about to die. So it's not like that's just inconsequential. That could be pretty bad. But
yeah, those are the things that save your butt.
Compared to some of the other things that could have happened to me, for that to happen this early, like okay, like that was definitely a whew.
Yep. And then as far as scoring goes, we definitely want to recount that real fast. But your other guys just moved up. He did the squadron activation, and what was his command?
He did. Oh, we didn't even do it, did we? I think he did firepower. Oops, don't look at that one.
Yep, he did firepower.
He did firepower. So since I didn't actually use it, I'll bank a token.
Yep, banking that token. It's just it's a reroll a die, which isn't bad. So
nope, it is not.
And plus he was out of range, so that actually helps out a little bit.
No, he was in range, man.
I mean, you have to shoot one dude.
But it was just 2.
It was just 2 dice. So. It wasn't worth rerolling. So, okay, but that's it for that turn. We will move on to turn 4. We're already halfway done too.
You're gonna get 1.
I'm definitely getting that one. You're definitely getting that one.
I got 8 on that one, and I'm the only one with any on that one, and it's 2.
Yeah, so I think you might get that one again because I'm pretty sure we're out. So I only probably have 3 dice.
You have 6 on that one.
6 dice to your 8. Dang it! So we're contesting it now.
That's just out of blue.
Yeah.
If you had that in blue, you'd get it.
Dang it! So okay, well we're going to turn 4.
All right, awesome.
All right, end of round 4 was pretty exciting. We had a lot of ship-to-ship shooting and some squadrons. So real quick on the squadron front, as you can see, I have no more ties. They are all destroyed. The B-wings and the combination of having special pilots destroy the crap out of them.
Pilots and technology.
I don't know about technology, just better, safer ships.
When the X-wing was supposed to be the Imperial ship, but then the rebels stole the plans. Isn't that what everybody always tells me?
Yeah, yeah, they stole those plans, man. I don't know.
I am not a Star Wars lore master, but I do know one thing. I do know one thing.
What's that, Ben?
That my squadrons annihilated your squadrons.
They really did. They really did. So, note to self: bring more ties. And
I also rolled really well.
You did roll 3 hits like every guy with only 3 attack dice.
I think with all the attacks I made, I only rolled 1 miss.
It's pretty ridiculous. So, pretty ridiculous. And I even had defensive abilities that ignored because of dice. So it was pretty bad.
When Luke shot up, what's her face?
Hell Runner. Yeah.
He had 5 dice because I have the flight controllers, right? So he has 4 base. He had 5. He got 3 hits and 2 defense cancelers.
Yep.
So she just literally could do nothing, and she just died.
Vaped her. Yep. Boom.
Well, that's Luke Skywalker for you, man.
Heck yeah, you better.
If you did anything less, like
I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I would be.
So with the capital ship firing, which I care about more because they're cool looking, I did spend some tokens here, as you can see, as far as the concentrate fire tokens. We shot each other up pretty well. This ship right here has no shields on this hull because I was able to redirect. This ship took some damage, but I was also able to redirect and repair. So I had the repair engineer action, so he's got 2 shields on the side. This ship took fire on the front. Fortunately, thanks to my dice and everything like that, or Ben's dice and my defensive abilities, I was able to take it down to just 1 shield damage on them. This guy over here is taking some actual hit damage.
Well, he still only has the 1 card.
Oh, that's right. 1 card.
The shields are out on one side.
And then this guy lost 3 shields to the front.
You did 5 damage on that 1 shot.
Yep.
And I braced, so reduced the damage to 3. That took out all the shields on that side.
Yep. So definitely unloading. And then I guess all those squadron tokens I saved up are totally worthless now. So, all right, Ben, we're gonna go. That was 4. We're already into turn 5. So we got 1 more turn. Oh, on the scoring front, I scored this one and this one now, thanks to my ships. Finally flipped it.
Star Destroyer's gotten close enough.
So I'm sitting on 5 tokens so far.
7.
Ben's got 7. So I'm trying to kill a ship to try to even this out, basically. Okay, here we go. Turn 5. Holy crap, turn 5. That was a rough turn for me.
I'm not doing so great either.
He hasn't taken near as much damage as I have. So let me just point this out real fast. This ship has no shields on the side, no shields on the rear, 1 shield on the right, excuse me, the starboard side, and no shields to the fore, and has taken 7 points of damage so far. 1 of those being a crit. How did I do that? Well,
5 of those came from 1 B-wing.
A B-wing, so a single B-wing.
B-wings roll, I believe it's a black and a blue. Yes.
Yes.
A black and a blue. So they have the bomber ability. So when they do a crit, it adds an extra damage card.
He rolled
so for
that.
each of those crits, there's an extra damage.
Yeah. So the 1 B-wing did 5 points of that damage. 1 of those damage came from a ram, which was kind of unavoidable. Yeah. And the other one was just was Luke, wasn't it?
No, it was Tycho.
Tycho putting a point in. Yeah. So he dropped my shields, and those fighters got in there.
What was actually kind of awesome was we had only 1 collision, and we had 2 near misses. So we thought my assault frigate was gonna bump him in the front, and I almost wish it had, because that would have been the last damage card, right?
It would have.
But instead, he stopped, within millimeters. Then this guy, you see him on an edge.
Yeah.
Well, his dial is overlapping my frigate, but he is not.
Yeah. Just Tokyo drifting around.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. As far as scoring goes, however, we got to count. Ben, if you want to count that up while I recap the rest of this. So he's jacked up. He's okay. This guy's got no shields in the front or his port side. And then this guy's got no shields on his starboard side. So I shot him up too, but he redirected a lot. He's got the enhanced projector, so he can move the damage all the way around the ship instead of just 1 shield space adjacent. So it's going to be interesting to see. Again, the game is turn 6. We are playing the objective points. If Ben doesn't manage to kill 1 of my ships, which I will be shocked if I don't lose 85 points worth of Star Destroyer here in a second. So Ben, how's it looking as far as objective points, man?
So you have a ton from here on this one, and then some more from each.
This guy has mine.
This guy has a ton more than that, so you're definitely going to get both of these 2.
And is this one in range? That's another question. It is in range. It's 1 point.
He only has 1 red, and my guy's also in range, just barely. Again, this has been a game of like super precise. So he'll add his 2 red.
So you'll get 1, and I'll get 2 this round. So it's kind of flipped. I think you had 7 and I had 5.
Yeah.
And now I have 7, and you have 8. Should have 8 with the +1. So, all right, but that's turn 5. We're now going on to turn 6. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna go real fast. I just want to say what's going on. So the Imperial Star Destroyer here, my Victory Class 2, which is down to 1 hull. Unloaded. I activated him first. I have the priority, so I unloaded onto that ship. I managed to get 3 hits and a crit. Well, it was critical, so 4 hits total. He already had a point of damage. He's got 5 hull. Now I move. Unfortunately, I ram him again, which, as we discovered earlier, is another point of damage. So what's going to happen? Bump. Both of these guys explode into space debris.
The Jedis are going to feel that one.
Yeah. Boom. Take that, Rebels. It was worth it. Totally worth it.
How's that disturbing?
It wasn't.
The force treatment?
It wasn't worth it for me. Disturbing the force. Okay, we're going to continue with turn 6. All right, BoLS fans, that is the end of the game. Turn 6. I lost the Gladiator. So barely. Not barely. He rolled that again with a B-wing. That's not barely. That's 5 damage. That's one-shotting a Gladiator with shield. 4 damage. Sure. Still, B-wings, stupid. Stupid good for the Rebels. You should totally buy some Wave 2 ships. Those guys suck. Yeah. Watch out for those guys. Blow them up early. Long story short, again, we saw that go down. The Gladiator fired. We fired onto this ship. I actually did quite a bit of damage to that ship.
It was real close.
He's got one left, right?
Yeah, he has 1 left. So when Adam's last 3 damage were all crits. And as we all know, there's extra cards in the crit deck that when you do them face up, it's just like do an extra hull damage. So, dude, when I flipped those over, like...
He was sweating bullets, folks.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, it was just 2, but still. Like, either one of those 2 could have been a do an extra, and then that would have been it. I would have lost the game. As it was real close. Adam does end up, in the end, with more victory point tokens.
Yes.
You're going to get...
I got 2 off that last turn. Ben got the last one.
9. Oh, so we're tied.
We're actually tied. God dang it, Ben.
So that's just... So that basically becomes...
a wash.
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about that. But I think Ben won on points just based on the fact that my Star Destroyer is 85 points and the Gladiator is 62.
And I bumped my Gallant Haven up to I think over 100 because Gallant Haven is the one that ended up living.
Yeah.
And it starts at 72. Being Gallant Haven means it's 80.
Yeah. Plus your squadrons are there, so
it's 91.
This was definitely a win. Definitely a win for the Rebels.
Yeah, and I'm really glad my plan came together the way it did because at the start I said, I'm going to use Squadron. I've got this guy with all these extra abilities because Rebel squadrons rule. Clearly we saw that. And it all came, like a big part of it came down really to Adar Talon.
Yeah.
Because that B-Wing that blew up the Gladiator got to shoot twice.
That guy right there, stupid jerk. It's his ability basically is anytime you use a squadron ability, whoever he activates, one of the guys gets to act twice basically.
Yeah,
right?
So I had this guy was like the furthest from the Gladiator at the end of its initial activation. I flipped the dial, hoping that when he moved his Gladiator,
it was like
he would still be in range, and yeah, he was right there. So then I got to shoot with him a second time.
Yeah.
And
that's partly my fault because I probably should have maneuvered a little bit better, but at the same time, I was going full speed ahead, and I did all my turns. I just couldn't get away from him.
And I did still have Tycho waiting right there as well. You flew right up in his face too.
I did. I'm not scared of
And I'm
Tycho.
also really glad that I picked Squadron as my last. 3 turns ago, I didn't really know what was going to be going on.
Didn't know.
It's the last few turns that get the craziest, but Squadron.
Yeah, I think going back on this list, I like the 2 Star Destroyers. Obviously, they're really cool. I probably should have been going faster most of the game, but maybe in the early part of the game, go 2 and then drop down the speed. But I also think maybe I should have used the Gladiator. I was expecting the Gladiator to curve a lot more than it did, and he just couldn't get in the game, and then eventually got killed. So that's just a rookie move on my part, really.
Yeah, and another trick that I've learned because I have played a little bit more than Adam, it's all about the arcs. So every ship has different arcs, and these are really important. They're drawn down the middle, but they're never. I mean, maybe some of them are at 45-degree or 90-degree angles, but I haven't seen one yet. So the Star Destroyer has a much wider front arc, and the frigate has a much wider side arc. So what you want to try to do is you always want to try to figure out a way to get both of your arcs to be able to see one target.
You basically want to try to point that line at the enemy ship like that. So I'm pointing that way. I've got 2 arcs to fire. It's overlapping arc, and I'm not very good at it.
Right, and I think that was a big place that my experience helped, because there were several times where I had my ships lined up like that, and I got to unleash both sides. And
at the same ship.
When it went back to you, you were like, oh, I guess I only get to do front, or I guess I only get to do side.
Also, just I think a lot of the issue too is like I have a lot more X-Wing playtime than I do Armada, obviously, but it's that whole shooting and then moving thing that does throw me off a little bit. It takes some getting used to.
We did that wrong a couple times. A good thing the camera wasn't going.
That's right.
We had to
redo it, but it's a thing. It was a fun learning experience for me. I definitely think that the ties, I wish I had brought more tie swarms. For 8 points, you can really load up on tie swarms, and that swarm attack, as Ben saw when I got the 1 turn in where I actually got to use it, was pretty devastating.
Yeah, and that was actually another point. Gallant Haven saved one of my B-Wings on that turn,
did.
Because every time he shot...
I was losing a die.
Yeah, they were close
not
to the Haven that every time he shot, I was getting to reduce the damage by 1. Because with the swarm, with the flight controllers, with everything else, those TIE fighters can roll an insane amount of dice. Yeah, that flight controller is really good. And then, of course, Howl Runner. She's actually also adding a die to anybody, any friendly squadron shooting. So, and then she's also Swarm. So, I mean, it's just, the TIEs can really unload a lot of damage. So I kind of wish, you know, if I hadn't had the Gladiator... Yeah, well, the Gladiator didn't do as much as it could. Yeah, I think it probably is bad positioning, bad maneuvering on my part. I know. I also think it's okay. You might have been thinking like an X-Wing player, like I'll get it there eventually, but you know, in this game, you gotta, everything moves real slow, and you gotta think several turns ahead. Yeah, I knew things move slow. That's why I started at range or speed 1. I figured, hey, I'm the Empire. I got a lot of forward guns. I'm gonna move slowly towards him and just kind of like move up through the board and blast away, which I did to a certain extent. But again. I wasn't very good at getting the multiple angle shots or multiple arc fires, and I probably could have afforded to go speed 2 for most of the game. I was also honestly a little afraid of going off the board, because I have a tendency to do that sometimes. Well, it's a big board. It is a big board. So we actually, it is a 4x6. So 3x6. 3x6. Sorry, these are 3 boards. Yeah, 2 3x3s. Who plays on 6x4s? What game does that? I don't know. Anyway, this has been another Battle Report Star Wars Armada. Thanks for watching at home. Hopefully we'll bring some more Star Wars love your way when the next wave comes out, or hopefully before that, right, Ben? Yeah, we'll have to see. I have another list I want to play that's completely the opposite. I'm considering buying some extra Corvettes and running a 4 Corvette list. Ooh. Because those guys are great. They can move super fast. They have command 1, so you always know exactly what they're going to do each turn. So I'd like to see if I can get a bunch of those guys and just like outmaneuver the Imperial. Yeah, but you know these. Star Destroyers are tough, though. That's a whole other $60 to invest in another list, so I gotta decide if it's really worth it. I got some things I'm gonna trade maybe with some people, get them that way. That's right. All right. Well, again, AdamHarry from BoLS, Gentle Ben, thanks again for playing. Thanks for watching. Yep, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.